put Naya in the car seat because I'm going in the front seat rather, and I'm going right around the corner. And within a minute of me turning off from the street where I live, not even maybe 30 seconds, I ran into the back of a bus, and Naya was in the front seat. And the bus was like, everything was kind of like, so the people called God when she said she was just walking around, just, oh Lord, let me go see what's what, just thinking that it was a little minor accident. And when she got there, I remember they had just pulled me out and put me on the stretcher, even though Naya was out within like the first maybe 3 to 5 minutes of the accident. She lost it, and I could just hear her screaming. And her thing to me, I was on the stretcher, and what she came and said to me, I told you not to put that baby in the front seat. That's the only thing that she could say to me, because it's like, I told you not to, and you did anyway. I mean, that's not, I've done some other stuff that has probably taken her there, but I know that was one thing that really took her there, because it was, I could have lost both of y'all,
Right.
and I could have lost her because of your basically disobedience and not listening. So I know that was something that was hard for her.
With my mom, for me, I would have to say probably the same, getting pregnant at 17. I remember her coming and asking me about, everybody was out the house and I'm watching TV, and my back is turned, probably like 2 months, flat as a board. I mean, she came out of the room and she called my name, and I remember saying yes. And she said, I want to ask you a question. So I said, okay, no problem. So she said, are you pregnant? And my heart dropped, and I was afraid to turn around because I just felt something was going to come flying at me. I had my body was braced because I'm just waiting for something to hit me. And she said, I knew it. And I turned around slowly, I looked at her, and then she said, I could tell by your eating habits. And because I love pineapples and strawberry ice cream, and she liked to make pineapple upside down cakes. And every time she went to make one, I had eaten all her pineapples. But I didn't think anything of it, because she would always just buy stuff and replace it. And she said, I knew it. And she said, I'm disappointed. She said, but I love you. Do you know what you want to do? Whatever you decide to do, I'll support you. It's your life. And I said, I want to keep my baby. So she said, okay. She looked at me. She went in her room, and that was it. And, the fact that she let me know that I disappointed her, it said, a lot, and it hurt me because I never wanted to disappoint her. But at the same time, her saying that no matter what you do, I'm here, it was like bittersweet. Yeah. And I just expected her to fuss and yell and everything, and it just hurt me to disappoint her. But the love that she showed in that moment just really, I can't even explain that.
Did you feel that love in that moment, though? Because I know for me, I called my mom, because I didn't live in the same town as her, and I said, Mom, I'm pregnant. And she went, okay. And I went, what? I said, Mom, I'm pregnant. And she says, okay. And I was like, are you all right? And she said, I'm fine. And I mean, her voice was just that calm. And I'm like, yo, scream something, because it was like, I even asked her, like, do you still love me? Because I'm so used to my mom reacting, and she didn't. And now I understand why. But at that time, it was like, what's going on? Why aren't you yelling at me?
In that moment, I knew that it was love that said that, and I knew that she meant what she said. But when I got older and she passed away, I was just about to turn 21 years old when she passed away. And I learned then that she had 2 daughters, one at 12 and one at 13. And my grandmother had taken those daughters from her. By the time she was 14, she came home from school, they were gone. She put them up for adoption. So in that moment, I learned in a split second, that is why she was the way she was with me. She was not going to be her mom. She was going to be there to support me and be there. So, I mean, I felt the love in that moment, but then I said, oh, okay. Now I know why. Okay, so who has been the godly example spiritually for you as a mother? So I know sometimes we have other women that speak into our lives, whether it's the mother of the church, the pastor's wife or a pastor. Who has been that spiritual person in your life? It could be your mom, it could be, but as a woman, who has spoken into your life?
Well, for me, it would be my grandmother, my dad's mom. She's been a Christian all my life. And she had 6 kids, all of which are successful. but only a couple attend church and have a standing relationship with God. And I believe that through her prayers and through her faithfulness, her kids have kind of gotten that spillover from that. And she, you know, she was married for, I think, 60 years or something, they said, when my granddad died. And she's just an awesome woman. Like, through everything that she goes through, she's patient, she's calm. There's nothing that I've ever seen affect her that she shows us. But, you know, she tells you like it is. She's upfront. She's to the point no matter what. You know, you're going to hear it whether you want to or not. She's that person where you walk in the house and be like, girl, you gaining weight, aren't you? You know, and sometimes it hurts your feelings, but, you know, that's grandma. That's how she is. But she's such a calm-spirited person with her kids that it makes you like, wow, like, for you to raise 6 children, you know, 3 boys, 3 girls, they respect you, they're good parents, they're, you know, successful, you have to have God behind you to do that. You know, and I love my granddad, but my granddad wasn't always there as much as he needed to be. I found out later, now that I'm older, that she's talking to me, because I always thought they were just like the perfect couple, you know, grandma and granddad. That was my model for marriage. But she's just an awesome woman, awesome.
For me, I'm going to say Helen McIntosh. Ooh. And I say that because, of course, we know that my mother, you know, left when I was young. And my godmother took me in as if I was her child, you know. And I must admit, with her still being here and standing, you know, strong by my side, she just basically set the foundation for me, because I grew up in the church and I knew about God. But it's like at home we weren't forced to go to church, but if we went to her house, you had to go to church. And it was, you know, we literally went to church at 8:30 and then get out of church at 3 o'clock. So it's like we were always there. But I mean, I haven't always been saved. I mean, I haven't been saved my whole life, so I carried a lot of baggage with me. And through the midst of everything, she's always been there. You know, she's always been the one to still tell me, you know, no matter what you do or no matter what you got, you know, what you go through, God still loves you in your mess, and I'm going to love you too. You know, that don't mean that she didn't hurt, she didn't have to pray, and she didn't have to fast, you know, to keep her from jacking me up. But, you know, she's been there, and I must admit, you know, I love and I appreciate her for that.
I would definitely have to say I know my mother. If anybody knows me, they probably get tired of me saying my mother said it, because my mother. But for her, because I'm always spiritual side and natural side, because of her, definitely I know God. From the music to the word to how she handled situations to when my father wasn't deserving of her love, for me to see her response, you know, for somebody who can argue with you all night and you still get up at 5 and make his breakfast. And I mean, the things that she endured that I didn't know until later definitely exemplified agape love, you know. And she was just so loving. But I think what really touched me more than anything is when she passed away, to see the church so filled that there were not enough seats, that people were standing around the wall. They were in the aisles. The whole aisle, the width of the aisle was filled with people. And to see all different ages, from the elderly to, you know, people coming home from college. You know, she had so many kids because everybody called her mom. And it was, I don't know, it just, with her, she was that example that it makes you say, when I die, you know, what is the church going to look like? Would I have touched anybody's life? You know, and definitely, mainly my children, would I have touched their lives? Was she perfect? No. Did she drive me crazy sometimes? Yes. But I knew in the end that she loved me. She wanted what was best for me. And then also in the end, I realized that she used to always say, I don't want you to go through what I've been through. And she said, I get so afraid when I look at you sometimes, because I see myself. You know, they were always out. My mom's twin, and she said, when I see you, I just don't want you to go through what I've been through. And I had no clue until after she passed away, with these 2 daughters, and, you know, having a baby at 12 and a baby at 13, and having drug abuse and all these different things. She didn't want those things for me, even though she never expressed it as far as what she actually went through. She just tried her best to live the best life and teach me about God, to keep me from going down that road. And I would have to say one other person was definitely Pastor Yvette Brinson, a Redeeming Word Christian Center International in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Being in that ministry taught me so much as a woman. I mean, because my mom died at 21, so there was a whole lot I had to go through, you know, then she wasn't there. So I held on